Hi folks, welcome to Dragons of Komodo here at Colchester Zoo. My name's Andy and I'm with Glenn, our head of reptiles. Glenn, what are we going to be doing today?
Well, we're going to give our dragons a carcass feed today, which is a muntjac deer, which they get approximately once a month. It's been defrosted, been sitting out to warm up, so we're going to put it in for them and we'll see how long it takes them to feed. It could be anything from a few hours to a few days, really.
Fantastic, Glenn. So we're all prepared, so folks stay tuned and Glenn, let's get ready to go and feed the Komodos.
Okay.
So Glenn, tell me a little bit about our dragons here today.
Yeah, well, we've got Talibo and Atal, two male subadult dragons. Not their full size yet, they've still got a lot of growing to do. And what we're going to do is do a carcass feed for them today.
So what can we expect to see, Glenn, when we do that feed?
We'll place the deer in the enclosure. The dragon is separate while we do that. And then the dragon will cautiously, maybe hurriedly come out and start feeding on the deer.
So Glenn, we're feeding the muntjac today. Can you tell us where we get the muntjac come from?
Yes, all our muntjac come from local gamekeepers in this area.
Excellent. Fantastic. And why do we feed the Komodos like this with the whole carcass? Is this how they feed in the wild?
Yes, they would. They generally will feed on large animals. And in the wild, you will see several dragons on one carcass. Obviously, we can't do that here because our two males have got their own territories. Whereas we'd like to feed them together, we do have to feed them separately. So they've got a deer each today.
Okay, fantastic. Do we feed them anything else at all? Is this what they have every month?
Yeah, generally this is their main carcass feed, which we do about once a month. It's not a routine, so it's not set dead on that exact day. But in between that, we might do a little bit of enrichment food, small little items, or other stuff where we don't feed them, like scent trails, fish juice, rodent juice, that sort of thing.
So Glenn, we've just released Atal. What's he going to do? He seems to be sniffing around the middle there.
Yes.
How will he approach this?
Yeah, well, he'll very likely take the best bits first. So he's gone straight into the middle, and yeah, he'll take out the nice, good bits of the deer first.
And are these like big cats? Will they remove the fur? Do they eat everything? What can we expect to see when they finish
I
feeding?
would say pretty much he will take everything. They're at the stage now.
Skull, hooves?
Yes, yeah, he'll eat everything. Yeah,
And so how does big cats generally wouldn't do that, for example, but how do they digest that?
Their stomach is full of strong acids that digest it. It takes a while. It will take probably a week, if not longer, for him to digest something this size. And he will just lay there with a big meal in him.
So not moving that much?
He won't move a lot for a few days now.
So Glenn, what makes this enclosure the Hilton of Komodo dragon enclosures and zoos?
Okay, well, our exhibit is now 17 years old, but it's still current. It still meets all the criteria for the dragons. It's very spacious for them. So as well as a big, large area, we've also got an area we can shut the dragons away in, and there's a den area off show for both dragons. The roof is retractable, which is really useful for us in summer, because being able to pull the roof back means they've got exposure to natural sunlight and natural UV, which with the summers we've had recently, is great. And that saves us on our heating bill.
Of course.
And the heating, obviously this time of year, we can't open the roof. So the heating in there is run by a biomass boiler, and it's got big fan units at the height of the enclosure that blow down. So that's really useful. And we can achieve 30, 32 in there in the winter time, which is really good.
So Glenn, what's Atal doing now?
He's proper tugging at it now, so he can try and rip a piece off. He's realised he can't take it down in one go. In an ideal world, because there would be several dragons on one animal, they would work together, even though they're working as their own to get their own meal. They would have the force of each other pulling on that meal. So he hasn't got that, so you might find him putting it against rocks and trying to dig out the contents of it, which is what he's trying to do now. And sometimes they've
See that
realised
fur being ripped out by those
That's
teeth
right.
so easily as well.
Yeah.
And so those teeth, are they needle-like? Are they shredding or serrated?
Yeah, they're curved, they're serrated. He's got about 60 in there, and yeah, they are incredibly sharp, and they're designed for exactly what we're watching ripping open.
So Glenn, we put out a request for some questions from our supporters and visitors on social media. So we've got some in, and maybe you can help us answer them. One of the questions here is, what else do Komodo dragons eat? Do you feed them anything else here at the zoo?
Okay, well, predominantly deer is their main part of the diet, but we do sometimes give them rodents. Sometimes they'll have some game. They've had duck and things like that before. Sometimes we'll give them training food, small bits of rodent, things like that we do the training with.
Another question, this is a great question, I'm really interested in this one as well. Do Komodo dragons, do they sort of go through courtship and then mate for life and pair for life? How does that work?
Not really. Dragons are solitary. They come across each other and mate at mating season. But then that's it, really. Yeah, there's no pairing.
So it would be a different pairing each sort of season?
Yeah, very likely, yeah. And yeah, there's not much parental care either. They are cannibalistic.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah.
Young Komodos have to live in the trees, as I understand,
That's it. Yes, they do.
to escape.
To keep out of the way.
Yeah. Glenn, I've worked in zoo education for a long time, and it's only been the last 10 years or so that we found out more about Komodo dragons. And am I right in saying that they've been recently classed as venomous?
Yes, they are venomous. Yeah, they used to just think it was all the build-up of bacteria in their mouth from what they ate, but they have actually got venom. And they use that when they bite on their prey, that secretes and releases into their prey and gradually disable it.
So these animals out in the wild, they come from Indonesia. How are they faring out in the wild at the moment?
Not great, unfortunately. They were classed as vulnerable. They've now been upgraded to endangered. Rising sea levels are the latest threat to them on the islands where they come from.
So climate change is becoming an issue. It's not just something that exists that politicians talk about. This is now having an impact on animals in the wild.
It is, and they think in the next 4 or 5 decades, a lot of the islands will be up to 70% gone. So yeah, that's a lot of habitat.
A huge threat. So what does Colchester Zoo do for Komodo dragon conservation, Glenn?
Well, our dragons are part of the EP, which is the European Endangered Programme, and we are part of that and support that programme. And also we support the project Waywaloo out in Indonesia, which works with education, tries to stop the threats to the dragons, which is the poaching of their prey. And we donate to the project as well.
Fantastic, thank you. Wow, folks, I think the Komodo's just taken a little break from its feeding. So we're going to leave it there because, as Glenn has talked about today, this could go on for the rest of the day, maybe even into another day. So we're going to leave it there. Thanks very much for tuning in to find out about one of the aspects about how we care for Komodo dragons. And thanks, Glenn, for providing some expert opinion and commentary as well. Folks, do share and like this if you've really enjoyed this. There are loads more resources on the Colchester Zoo website if you'd like to find out more about how we care for not only the Komodos but other species around the zoo. And of course, across the coming year, as we change into that charity in January the 1st, 2025, we want to reveal more about how we care for animals here at Colchester Zoo. So tune in again throughout the year. Thanks.